Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Nicole Russo. The Saratoga sale of selected yearlings at Fasig Tipton is complete. Fireworks on day 2.
Yeah, definitely. The sale got off to a solid start on Monday, as we discussed, and just propelled itself across the finish line on Tuesday with a very strong top of the market, a trio of 7-figure yearlings. And when the dust settled, Fasig finished with a record gross, the second highest average in history. Both of those records established in 2001. So we're talking a completely different market, before the recession, before kind of this revival market that we have now. The median price matched a record established last year. And the buyback rate, pretty steady, went to 21% from 20%. A terrific sale, and, Fasig Tipton team and executives visibly emotional, as this is the first sale conducted without longtime company executive Bill Graves, who died earlier this year and had a big hand in selecting the yearlings in this catalog.
American Pharoah was the marquee name among first-crop sires, heck, among all sires, but Medaglia showed him how to do it. He said, "Not so fast, young man. I'm the star of day 2. 3 yearlings, all sold for 7 figures, a remarkable feat from a remarkable stallion."
Yeah, I mean, the Darley Stallion, just such a good, consistent sire of horses at the top level. Last year led all stallions in North America by number of Grade 1 winners, and, came out firing with a strong group of yearlings led by a $1.35 million colt today on day 2.
Let's talk about that colt out of the stakes-winning Coco's Wildcat from the female family of Songbirds, so we know it crosses well with Medaglia d'Oro. This horse, when he walked into the ring, you could hear a gasp. You knew he was going to go for a big sum.
Yeah, definitely. These horses Medaglia d'Oro came to the sale with all had really terrific physicals, including a lot who sold well in the middle market behind these 7-figure horses. And you mentioned this one being from the family of Songbird. I think a common thread among these 3 Medaglia d'Oros sold tonight is they're all from families that work, from crosses that work with the stallion, and a big partnership got together on this horse.
A big partnership indeed, led by West Point Thoroughbreds. We talked to West Point's Terry Finley and Rob Masiello. Here are their thoughts on this very exciting yearling.
Terry, a lot of excitement here at Fasig Tipton Select Yearling Sale. That Medaglia d'Oro colt was spectacular.
I thought he was. I thought he was, and I thought we had him, I don't know, Dan, like at the million mark. But, once you get to that level, you're like, I think if they're worth $1 million, they're worth I don't know, what do we pay for them? $1,350,000. But I mean, they're the kind of horses you got to get. You got, if you're in a position, and that deal, it came together like 20 minutes before the sale. So I just felt the magic, and I hope we have the magic in his career.
Let's talk about the partners right now. Can you divulge anything? Who's going to be involved in this horse?
Well, we're working on it, right? We didn't do the whole deal, but Sienna Farms took a piece, Masiello took a piece, Larson took a piece, and the Windstor boys actually bred this horse, and they're staying in on him. And I'm sure we'll have a couple other partners, but it'll be a small partnership, and I'd like to address that kind of partnership as a quality partnership.
Pedigree speaks for itself. What'd you like about him physically?
I mean, he's the kind of horse that I saw him for the first time like 4 or 5 days ago, and I kept thinking about him. And over the years, they're the kind of horses that you want to try to buy, and you go to extraordinary lengths to try to buy. And I remember he was the first horse I thought about, waking up the last couple of days. So I think that kind of gave me the marker to take a shot on a good colt like this.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Tim.
We knew we were going to have to spend a lot of money. That's why it was a pretty big partnership. But we're over the moon happy right now. We got a good one, and we got a free freak upstairs too. So it worked out pretty well. I hope so. Well, I hope we're in the winner's circle at some point. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got to a point where I think I was probably ready to go out on my own a little bit. but I just have such a good relationship with Terry. And to Terry's credit, he's always understood that, you know, I've sort of evolved as an owner, and you know, that I've done it long enough that I can sort of do stuff on my own. So, and I respect the fact that he's running a business, right? He's got a syndication and he has to take care of his clients. So we work really well together, and you know, that's sort of what it's been. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of year by year. I've tried to go slow and patiently and do things the right way, and Terry's been instrumental in that. So, I'm an equities trader. So equities, derivatives, that's sort of my main business. I work up here. I have to go back down to New York a little bit during the meet, but mostly up here for the majority of the meet. So number one is you have to take care of the horses, right? Like, and that means aftercare. That means, you know, it doesn't end when the racing career ends. Your number one responsibility as an owner is to take care of horses when they're done racing. I'm on the board of the TRF, actually with Terry's daughter, Erin. It's something I take very seriously. I think it's something that more and more over the years has become more popular and more known amongst owners. So I would say that's definitely number one. Number two is patience. That, you know, there's a lot of times it's like, hey, we could press on here, but maybe we shouldn't press on. And 9 times out of 10, the right decision is not to press on. And it's tough when you spend this kind of money on a horse. You want things to happen. You want this horse, when that first book comes out next year in Saratoga, you're like, Whitney Day, we should be winning that race. But it doesn't always work out that way. In fact, most of the time it doesn't work out that way. So those are the two big things. And then the third thing I would say is, like, have fun. There's something, actually, Sean Clancy said to me 2 years ago. It was closing day. He was at the paddock bar, and it always stuck with me. It's something Terry and I was talking about. You know, he was talking about the meet and all. We were talking about all the stuff that happened that year, and he's like, you know what, Rob? It's horses running around in a circle. And the truth is, like, at the end of the day, you get so fired up, you know, your ego gets going, you want to win a race, blah, 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 you're up here. But at the end of the day, it's horses running around in a circle. And if you can't have fun doing it, if you can't enjoy the other owners and trainers and horsemen and the backside workers that work their ass off day in and day out, and you can't appreciate what they do, you shouldn't be in this game. So I think those are really the three things that stick out in my head about what Terry's done for me.
Sorry, we were a second late to the party. And
that's okay.
Can you just go back over what you liked about this horse most?
I mean, he was so leggy and just athletic looking, and obviously the stallion's unbelievable, you know. He just looked like such an athlete. You know, obviously he's got this speed influence on the bottom, the stamina on the top with the Medaglia d'Oro, which we like. You know, I know it's a cliche thing to do it, but I'm going to say it, like, he ticked all the boxes. Believe it or not, the first time in the history of horse racing, this horse actually ticked all the boxes. But no, I mean, he was just a wonderful horse, and he was a horse that we wanted to leave here with. We knew we were going to have to spend some money on him, but like I said, and I want to be clear, it's Terry, it's Chris Larson, and Anthony Manganero, and they're all wonderful people, and it's just going to be fun to be a part of this together. It really is.
Hip number 204, Medaglia d'Oro filly out of Dawnray. This is a half-sister to Exaggerator, so we had a feeling this horse would go for a big price, but considering Medaglia d'Oro's record with fillies, I mean, you have to wonder, is this the next great one?
Well, you know what? I think maybe Steve Asmussen was wondering that. The trainer sitting alongside the Phoenix Thoroughbreds team as they signed the ticket on this one. Asmussen, of course, trained Medaglia d'Oro's Hall of Fame daughter, Rachel Alexandra. And, you know, this filly, you mentioned her being a half-sister to Exaggerator, a multiple Grade 1 winner, Classic winner. She's out of a Vindication mare, and, you know, crossing Medaglia d'Oro over Vindication, responsible for the likes of Wonder Godot on the track this year. Kentucky Oaks runner-up, now a multiple Canadian Classic winner, headed for the Travers. So another productive cross with the stallion.
We caught up with Steve Asmussen after the sale, and here are his thoughts.
She's a work of art and a beautiful filly, and I don't think you're very likely to find another like her.
On the pedigree, obviously, being related to Exaggerator.
That being a big part of it, obviously, when I say that. You know, she's got a beautiful pedigree as well as the physical to go with it.
Is that what you expected to have to go to for her?
watching the sale last couple of days, yes.
Especially given the sire's been obviously very popular tonight.
I think that filly she's special in her own right, and lucky to have her. Obviously, it was going to take a lot to get her.
Hip number 143, a Medaglia d'Oro filly out of Veracity, went for $1 million. It's nice to see the Jacksons of Barbaro fame, Lale Stable, get involved here with this filly. And what a pedigree. The dam, a full sister to the dam of a late by who?
Medaglia d'Oro.
What a cross.
Yeah, and I know that the Jacksons are looking forward toward this one to add to their broodmare band someday as well. You look at a female family like this and you definitely think about the residual value, and I do think, looking well down the line, that Medaglia d'Oro is going to continue to develop into an outstanding broodmare sire. You look at all of his terrific daughters out there and you know they'll be given every opportunity. We talked about a late from this immediate female family bred on this Medaglia d'Oro over Distorted Humor cross. Very productive cross, already responsible for, in addition to a late, multiple Grade 1 winner New Money Honey, graded winners Mrs. McDougal and Funny Proposition. It's a very productive cross.
It's been a very emotional sale, as you mentioned in the open. We got a chance to talk to Boyd Browning Jr., President and Chief Executive Officer of Fasig Tipton, after the conclusion of the sale.
I'm pleased to report that the 2018 Saratoga sale established a new record for gross sales for the sale. It doesn't happen without the trust and confidence of the best breeders, the best pinhookers, the best consigners in the world. The quality of horses that we had on the sales grounds this week was fantastic. You all heard the same rave reviews that we heard, and it truly was a tremendous group of horses, and I fully expect to see future catalog covers stashed and stocked with outstanding graduates from this sale. And as I said, it doesn't happen without the support and the trust and the confidence of the men and women who own those horses and raise those horses and consign those horses. Also doesn't happen without a tremendous team. I'm biased. I think we've got the best team in the world at Fasig Tipton, across the board. It's a collection of people who truly care about the business, about the company, about the people we do sell for, and about each other. We were obviously missing in person a key member of our team. But I think he was with us. He was with us throughout the selection process. We put the catalog together. We barely established the record. By like a couple $100,000 is what the gross exceeded the record. And I don't know if you believe in divine intervention or not, but I'm not going to ask any questions. So, you know, it's humbling. It's invigorating. We're proud as hell. It's a significant accomplishment. And we'll start working tomorrow morning on 2019, and we'll try to do a better job in the whole process and see if we can't continue to serve our customers well, both buyers and sellers alike, and try to continue to establish this as one of the great places to sell and buy a horse.
What would Bill have said?
Well, I can't really say. I mean, I promise you. He'd say, boy, we did it. And we did. But we're not satisfied. I mean, we will get to work tomorrow morning. We'll enjoy it. We'll go have a nice dinner tonight. We might have a toast or two. Say that's a pretty good bet. But it's, you know, it's really cool when everything comes together. You know, we had a few misses. There's some things. I mean, you know, it wasn't perfect. We'll continue to strive to do better. But we're proud of the accomplishments. And, you know, as I said, all honest to God, this game is really simple. It's all about the horse. And it's, you know, you got to have good horses. You can't trick. We don't trick anybody in the world. The sophistication level of the buying public is extraordinary. And that's why you got to have good horses, and consigners and the consigners and the sellers have to give us good horses, and they did. And we hope they'll support us with even better horses next year.
The previous record was in 2001.
Yes, 2001. Yeah.
How is this market now better or stronger than then? I know in 2001 you had some horses that were very, very high end. I mean, here you had a little bit more depth in the middle.
Well, yeah, I think that's one of the I mean, you know, it's pretty remarkable to, you know, to post these kind of numbers. And we talked about it last year when the median and the average are in such close parallel to each other. And it's daggone median. You can't ever tell how it's going to work out. It stinks. We had a $300,000 median yesterday and a $350 today, and we still average. It's still 300. So you know, it could have been. That thing could have like clicked down like one number, and it could have been probably 3 1/4. You know, I mean, that's why. You know, you've heard me say before, the median's a little bit tricky on a sale of this size because it can move 10% with literally one horse sold or one horse not sold. So, but I think that's the difference is that in 2001, the highs were certainly much higher. And, you know, we see a realistic ceiling right now, but the middle of the market, the upper middle of the market is dynamite. And it's a more consistent marketplace than it was in 2001, but certainly doesn't have the peaks. And hopefully doesn't have the valleys.
All 3 of your 7-figure horses today were by Medaglia d'Oro, kind of probably one of the first times that's happened, or 3 by the same sire being your top.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. I mean, you know, we had kind of talked when we went around the sales grounds. It was, you know, I mean, he was going to have a magnificent sale because they were magnificent individuals. He's red hot as a stallion. You know, you had the quality of those pedigrees spoke for themselves. I mean, families of Songbirds, families of Elate and Exaggerator, and so forth. So I mean, it was like, you know, we got some really, we kind of got the whole package here. The physicals matched up with the pedigrees, and the world's not demand. They're willing to pay for quality, and we had quality.
It's been a really exciting sale. The American Pharoah yearlings extremely well received. The Medaglia d'Oro yearlings really stealing the spotlight in night number 2 of this select yearling auction. Really emotional. It was a great sale all around.
It really was. And I mean, we talked about American Pharoah as kind of the story of the week here. He had those 2 7-figure yearlings on night 1, a number of solid sales in night 2, finished with his average at over $500,000, which is really an unusual number for a first-year sire, but he's an unusual horse. Very strong group of first-year sires with a lot of those offering terrific value. Honor Code had a breakout horse on night 2, but Liam's Map, Carpe Diem, and some others, I mean, these horses were coming out and averaging more than 10 times their stud fees, so really spoke to how well they were received. Perennial leading sire Tapit also had a very good sale, coming out with a couple of horses in that, you know, high 6-figure range. range. Into Mischief, leading juvenile sire with one of his strongest books of mares yet, had a terrific sale. And of course, you had Medaglia d'Oro stealing the show with these 3 7-figure yearlings on night 2 to take us across the finish line. So just a diverse group of stallions, young stallions, established stallions. It was really an exciting sale.
We thank you so much for tuning in to DRF TV during these 2 very exciting days at Fasig Tipton and our coverage presented by Stonestreet.